Prologue. Silence. Silence. So easily broken, yet so hard to find. There is silence in everything. Silence in the forest. Silence in the ocean. But the most prominent and most terrifying silence is the silence of the shadows. Every shadow has its own silence. While one might have a brooding silence, another might have a dark silence, and yet another might have somber silence. Most shadows I've come across, however, have a more ominous silence. A silence that can swallow you whole if you get too close. It will draw you in like a moth to an open flame. These shadows can range from anything as small as a speck of dust to anything as big as an inky smear across your ceiling. Beware these shadows. No matter the cost, no matter the draw, beware the shadows. Beware their hunger. Chapter 1. The Ink. There's no mistaking when a person goes missing. Almost immediately, if they're a person to be missed, an alert is sent out and they're all over the news. That wasn't the case for Willow Stevens. Her friends knew exactly what happened to her, but they never told anyone. Never. They went about their lives as if they were clueless, but they knew. They always knew, and the guilt began to eat at them. One by one, the guilt overtook them. Police report. Status filed. Reason, missing person. Description. Name, Willow Marilyn Stevens. Age, 18. Occupation, N.A. Parents' names. Mother, Karina Etta Stevens. Father, Anton Mikhail Stevens. Last seen wearing, an ash-brown hooded sweatshirt, khaki-colored straight-leg jeans, a juniper green beanie, and hiking boots. Last seen in the company of Ania Marie Brown, Kadeen Hazel Thomas, Maxwell Theodore Bradford, and Logan Christopher Martinez. Last seen on October 11th at 11:07 p.m. End of police report. Guys, I'm really nervous about my interview, Maxwell said shakily to the other three. He sounded as if he was going to burst into tears at any moment. I mean, what if they ask me a question about where her body is? What do I tell them? Maxie, kid, relax, Logan said, giving Maxwell a reassuring pat on the shoulder. They don't know she died, they just think she went missing. All you gotta do is say that she went into a cabin, and when we went in, she was gone, okay? Chill, kid, breathe. Yeah, thanks, Logan. I'll do that. Police interview 1. Interviewer, Sheriff Gates. Subject, Maxwell T. Bradford.
Maxwell, right?
Yeah, but my friends call me Max.
Alright, Max. I'm gonna ask you a few questions, okay? You just have to answer them honestly, and we'll be out of here pretty quickly.
Okay, shoot. Well, not literally, I mean, sorry, I'm nervous. Go ahead.
It's alright to be nervous, Max. I know this is a very hard time with your friend having gone missing only 2 days ago. Can you tell me what you were doing when she went missing?
Yeah, Willie. Well, Willow. We call her Willie. Anyway, she had just turned 18, so we went out as a friend group to celebrate. The 5 of us, you know, and...
Sorry to interrupt, but what do you mean when you say the 5 of us?
Oh, yeah, it was Willie, Logan, Kadeen, Ania, and me. We all went camping. We took 2 tents, one for the guys and one for the girls, and we set up in the woods on the outskirts of town.
The outskirts of town? The deep forest?
Yeah, that creepy forest outside of town. There are old hiking trails back there, and we thought it'd be fun to camp there as a turning 18 ritual or something. I don't know. I kinda got guilted into joining them.
A ritual? Tell me more.
Yeah, that's what Logan said. We were gonna camp there for 3 nights in the woods, telling ghost stories and hunting and playing games and stuff. It was honestly really fun at first, but...
But what happened that made it not so fun?
We were playing Truth or Dare, and Logan dared Willie to go into a creepy old cabin that we found on a hike. He told her to go in there for an hour.
And that's when she disappeared.
Yeah, we were in after the hour was up, and she wasn't anywhere. She didn't scream or anything, so I don't know when or what happened.
Thank you, Max. You've been a great help.
End of interview. Maxwell walked out of the police station to his 3 friends who were waiting for him.
Well, what happened? How did it go? It went okay. I basically recounted everything, but when I got to the dare, I told them that she had just vanished. I hope I was convincing enough. I know you were, Maxie.
Anaya reassured him.
I bet you did great. Do you guys think I should have told the truth? I mean, we didn't kill her ourselves, right? Maxie, are you crazy?
Anaya scolded.
They'd investigate and we'd all be hauled off. You don't want to ruin the rest of senior year for us, do you? I mean, come on. You out of all of us would be the one headed to college. Yeah, I know. I don't know. It just feels wrong to not tell the truth about what happened, you know?
Max said, drawing in the dirt with the toe of his shoe.
I agree with Maxie. It just feels so wrong to lie to the police. Maybe they could help us find out what killed her. It's unsettling to know your best friend died, but not know what killed her.
Kadeen said, looking down at the dirt.
Oh, come on, you guys.
Logan exclaimed.
We can't tell them. Not now, not ever. It just can't happen. That's final. Hey guys, we should really go now. I don't think the police are very keen on us standing out here talking right after your interview.
Anaya said, looking towards the window into the police station.
Yeah, you're right. I want to go home anyway.
Max said as he started walking.
I can't look at that station any longer. I just can't.
With that, he trudged towards his house. All too late, the friend group began their walk home. Already, the darkness was spreading. The shadows were lengthening, hungry for another. Chapter 2. The Splotch. Nobody knew the hunger of the shadows that inhabit every area of our world. Every shadow hungers. The shadows under the children's beds, the shadows on the ceiling, the shadows under trees. But the shadow that hungers most of all are the shadows in the forest. Those shadows have an insatiable hunger, one that builds on itself for years, if not decades. You could never guess their delight when a second person stumbled into their trap within only a few days of the first. Police report. Status filed. Reason missing person. Description. Name Maxwell Theodore Bradford. Age 17. Occupation NA. Parents Mother Clarice Vivian Bradford. Father Frederick Matteo Bradford. Last seen wearing NA. Last seen in the company of Logan Christopher Martinez, Kadeen Hazel Thomas, and Denai Marie Brown. Last seen on October 15th at 10:26 a.m. End of police report.
First Willie, now Maxie?
Kadeen spoke through tears.
What next? Who next? Why does this keep happening to us?
Kay, relax. They'll find him, Logan said, reassuring her by rubbing her back. That's why the report was filed, to find Max.
What if they discover the truth about Willie? What then, Logan?
Anaya scolded.
What would they do when they find her and question us more because they know we went to that cabin? Great work, genius. Now we're all in trouble. We better find Max before they do.
You're right, Annie. I guess I hadn't thought about that. Logan sighed.
What should we do now?
Kadeen murmured.
I mean, I think we all know where he went.
As she spoke, she looked out towards the woods, causing the others to follow her glance.
Wait, Kay, you don't mean we have to...
Logan began, but trailed off.
Yes, Logan, we have to go back to the cabin.
What they didn't know is that the shadows were strongest there, in that cabin. What the friends didn't know was that the shadows hungered, and they hungered for the 3 friends most of all. They didn't know that what drew them to the cabin that first night would keep calling to them until they came back. The shadows didn't intend to let anyone escape this time. Chapter 3. The Splatter. That night, the three friends ventured out towards the cabin with nothing but the clothes on their backs and the flashlights on their phones. They were determined to find Max before the FBI, whether they found him dead or alive.
What do you think we'll find when we get there?
Kadeen asked as the trio took the all-too-familiar hike to the cabin. I don't know, girlie, but I hope it's nothing horrid, Logan said.
I don't know either, but based on what we heard when it happened to Willie, I hope the scene is different.
Anaya spoke, a chill running down all three spines. The three finished the hike in silence, quiet tears slipping down Kadeen's face as they walked. When they arrived at the cabin, they felt the same strange tug that they felt that first day. That same strange tug that made them choose it for the ritual that first day they visited.
Guys, I really don't like this,
Kadeen said, the tears streaming more quickly now.
Okay, relax. We're just gonna look around, then we'll head back, okay?
Logan said.
We won't be here for more than 10 minutes, I promise. Logan, you really can't guarantee that. Not after what we saw with Willie.
Anaya began, but trailed off when she saw the look on Kadeen's face. As the trio entered, they saw that not much had changed since they had last been inside the cabin. The same nail marks were on the walls. The same mud was smeared on the floor, walls, and stairs. There were a few things different this time, however. This time, blood splattered in trails throughout the cabin, and nail marks trailing down a set of stairs that could only be assumed to lead into the basement.
I want to go home,
Kadeen whimpered from behind Logan, where she hid as they entered.
It's okay, Kay. I'll get us out. We just need to see if Max is here or not,
Logan said, taking hold of Kadeen's hand. Taking another couple steps into the cabin, the trio began to warily look around. Despite Kadeen's protest, the trio split up, each taking a different room on the main floor. They searched for hours, beginning on the first floor, then ascending the stairs to the second, doing the same into the attic, then finally regrouping on the main floor.
Guys, I really think we need to check out the basement,
Logan said, a slight tint of apprehension in his voice.
I mean, look, the nail marks lead straight down there. As much as I hate to say it, I think you're right, Logan,
Kadeen mumbled, her voice trembling with the fear evident on her face and in her eyes. The trio began their descent into the basement, stumbling their way down the stairs due to the absence of light. The light circles from the 3 phone flashlights lit the dim staircase just ahead of the group, but not much farther than that.
Okay guys, I've reached the ground, so we're off the stairs now,
Logan called, his voice seeming to come from everywhere at once.
For a house so small, this basement surely seems huge,
Anaya stated, her voice echoing off of the walls.
We should have brought better flashlights,
Logan said with a laugh that rang out in the dark basement.
Guys, maybe this wasn't such a good idea,
Kadeen said, looking around warily.
Please, I want to go home. Okay, if we haven't found anything in 10 minutes, we'll go home, okay?
Logan offered.
Logan, that's what you said when we walked in,
Anaya stated with a smug, matter-of-fact tone.
Thanks for pointing that out, Amy,
Logan said with an exasperated tone.
But goodness, was that necessary? Look at Kay, she's already as pale as a ghost. Logan, I'm always this pale.
Kadeen chided, giving Logan a poke in the ribs with her elbow.
But seriously, you're right, Annie. I'm scared. I want to go home. 10 minutes, girlie, then we're out of here. Promise,
Logan said, finalizing their conversation. Not half a second after that statement was made, a sharp scream tore through the silence. A scream that sounded like Willow. Chapter 4. The First Stroke. Police Interview 2. Interviewer, Sheriff Gates. Subject, Logan C. Martinez.
Alright, Logan. Let's get this over with quickly so you can get back to your girl, alright?
Thanks, Sheriff, but she's not my girl. She's just a friend for now.
That's adorable.
Thanks, Sheriff. Now you want us to get done quickly, so let's not dwell on my love life and get to the questions.
Of course, of course. So you went to the cabin to try to find Max herself, is that correct?
Yes? How do you know that?
One of you called the police that night, did you not?
Oh, yeah, we did. I guess I forgot what all was said that night.
That makes sense. Emotions were high. Your adrenaline was spiked. I don't expect you to remember everything.
Then why am I here? If you don't expect me to remember, why are you questioning me?
Logan, I just need to know what you do remember. Now, what caused one of you three to call us that night?
Well, the three of us, Katie and I and myself, went out to see if we could find Max. I mean, we figured if anyone could have found him, it would have been us. I mean, we're the ones who know him the best. We were looking around the house and didn't find anything. When we got down to the basement, somebody screamed, and Kay and I ran. I haven't seen any since. I thought she was right behind us. I'm so scared. What if it's her next? I mean, first Willie, then Max. What if... I can't even think about it.
Hey, kid, calm down. Don't get worked up. She's safe. She's here. She was just too shaken to go home, so we kept her here for a while.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought we lost her.
Oh, relax, kid. Everything's gonna be alright. So what happened after you heard the scream?
I grabbed Kay and we ran. I got her out of that cabin as fast as I could have. I just wanted her to be safe.
You really need to ask this girl out. Anyway, so you two got out. Then what happened?
We ran, and she called you guys.
Okay. Thanks, Logan. You can get back to Katie now. I'm sure she needs you.
Thanks, Sheriff.
So what happened?
Anaya asked.
I'm kind of pissed at you two, I'm not gonna lie. You left without even a glance to see if I'd gotten out, if I was behind you or anything. Annie, please, I was trying to get Kay out. I knew how terrified she was, and I was worried.
Logan answered, his head hanging with the guilt he felt for leaving his friend behind.
I know, Logan, I know.
Anaya replied, comforting her friend.
And don't think I don't see how you look at her. You love her, don't you? I think I do, Annie. I really think I do.
Logan answered with a smile.
Then you need to tell her.
Anaya scolded, her motherly tone taking over.
She won't ever know if you don't tell her.
Yeah, I know, Logan said, shaking his head.
I'm just so scared that I'll ruin our friendship. What if she says no? Then I've lost her as a girlfriend and everything will be awkward between us after that. I couldn't do that to her. Logan, bud, you need to tell her.
Anaya said, laying a hand on his shoulder.
Call her. Now, I'll help you talk to her. I don't want to tell her over the phone though, Annie.
Logan replied.
I want to make it special. I want to take her to dinner. I want to get her flowers. I want to give her a speech or a letter or something more personal. Not a phone call. Well, Logan, if that's the case, then start writing your letter.
Anaya insisted.
You need to tell her soon. Give her something to brighten her world through this hard time. Whether you keep it as a letter or shift it into a speech, that's your decision. Just please tell her, okay? Can I ask a favor?
Logan inquired.
Sure, Logan. What is it? Can you call her for me? Not to tell her for me, but to get some information about her. I want to make the night perfect, so I want to have all of her favorite things. Of course, Logan. What all do you need to know? Like her favorite things? Like her favorite flower, her favorite smell, her favorite music, her favorite food, her favorite color. Everything. I'd love to. It's about time that you two are getting together. I've seen enough of you ogling at her to last a lifetime. Okay, Annie,
Logan chided, adding an eye roll.
It hasn't been that bad, has it? It's been that bad.
Anaya spoke, trying to suppress a laugh.
Oh,
Logan mumbled, his head drooping with a sudden wave of self-consciousness.
Don't fret about it, okay?
Anaya said, trying to reassure her friend.
I think it's cute.
Days later, once Anaya gathered all the information that Logan had asked for, he decided to finally set everything up to tell Kadeen. He didn't text her when and where. Rather, he sent a letter. Never once had he done this before, and he was terrified, but he poured his heart onto a page, trying to write as neatly as he possibly could, then took it to her house. He made sure to take it at a time she wouldn't be home so that he could put it in her mailbox and she could find it for herself. Letter 1.
Dearest Kadeen, in your eyes I see the stars reflected. In your hair I see the brightest fire, a fire that inhabits the very depths of my heart. In all the years I've known you, I've grown more and more fond of you, and that has since turned to loving you. I can't imagine ever spending a day without you, and I hope to always be able to be the man you need. I know how it feels to not be with you. The ache I feel isn't comparable to any pain I felt before. Your face is always featured in my dreams, whether that dream be at night or during the day. You fill my thoughts. You always are the person I worry the most about. To compare you to anything would be impossible. Your hair is brighter and more flowing than the flames that dance in my heart. Your eyes are the color of the trees in the sunlight, and they hold a depth that one gaze can never discover. Your cheeks hold a blush that is pinker than any flower I've seen, and the way you smile when you blush makes me fall even more in love with you. Your freckles contain more constellations than the stars that shine in the sky during the night, those same stars that are reflected in the sparkle of your eyes. Your lips, the way they form a smile, the way they move as you speak, it's mesmerizing. No matter what happens, I will always love you. No matter what you decide when we see each other, I'll still love you. If you feel the same, or if you want to hear more, meet me at the old library in the center of town on Thursday evening at 7 o'clock. Visit Anaya's house before going. She'll have something for you. When you arrive, follow the flowers. They'll lead you to me. I hope to see you on Thursday. I love you, Kadeen. All my love. Logan.
End of letter 1. Over the course of the next few days, tensions rose in the town. The searches proved fruitless, and the families of the duo who went missing began to get restless. More restless, however, were the shadows. They were waiting, watching, hovering, patient for another passerby to fall into their trap. On Thursday, Logan found himself preparing the library for the night. He lined paths with yellow rose petals and amber candles leading up to the romance section of the library. He lit a fire in the stone fireplace, and he waited, pacing the floor.
You're going to wear a hole in the floor, young man,
the librarian jibed.
What's got you all dressed up? Oh, hi, Miss Herrera,
Logan responded, standing still and looking up.
I'm waiting for someone. I set up a whole date and invited her by written letter, expressing my feelings for her. I hope she comes. She will, dear,
Miss Herrera answered with a consoling tone.
Just give it time. She'll be here. Thanks, Miss Herrera,
Logan said, giving the old woman a small smile. After she walked away, leaving Logan to his thoughts, he began to pace again. He wasn't sure if he should be hopeful that Kate was going to come, or if he should be nervous because he hadn't seen her since he delivered her letter. After what seemed to Logan like 7 hours, he heard the door chime ring out, signaling that someone had entered the library. Logan straightened his stance and stood simply waiting. He didn't know if it was her or just someone coming in to use the library, but even so, he waited with a bated breath. Nothing compared to the nerves he was feeling, not even the nerves he felt before walking onto the football field. He heard a gasp, and he knew it was her. He could hear the soft click of the heels that he had picked for her, the soft swishing of the skirt of the dress he chose. He could hear her laugh ring out at each of the goofy notes he left on the path, written in his clumsy scrawl.
Well, are you going to kiss me or not?
Kadeen asked with a sly smile. You don't have to ask me twice, Logan replied, taking her face in his hands. He leaned down, felt her eyes slip closed, and brushed his lips gently against hers. As he began to pull away, she clung onto him, running her fingers through his hair, and kissed him with a passion incomparable to any that he had felt before. She kissed him with the hunger of ages, the hunger of being apart from him for so long. She kissed him as he wanted to kiss her, but he was hesitant, just in case she didn't want that level of passion in their first kiss. Feeling her passion, he reciprocated, pouring the years of love for her that he had bottled up within him, and he poured it all into that kiss. The shadows dancing on the walls rejoiced with every moment this kiss lingered in the air. They knew he was trying to search for anything he could, and now they had something that they could use to deter him. His love, which he thinks is his greatest triumph, would be his greatest downfall. Chapter 5. The Smudge. Police report. Reason: missing person. Status: filed. Description: name: Josephine Maria Herrera. Age: 74. Occupation: librarian. Last seen wearing: white blouse, long midnight blue skirt, a tan shawl, cream socks, and brown loafers. Last seen in the company of K. Dean Hazel Thomas and Logan Christopher Martinez. Last seen on October 28th at 10:37 p.m. End of police report. The disappearance of the librarian came as a shock to the whole town. Murmurs of "she was so sweet" and "why her" whispered through the town like a gust of wind. Nobody knew what had happened. However, Anaya knew. For some reason that she could not put a finger on, she knew that the librarian had been taken. She didn't just disappear. "Logan, I'm scared," Anaya confessed to her friend one afternoon. "I don't know what's happening to me, and I don't like it one bit." "Hey, Annie," Logan said, hugging his friend, who was clearly distressed. "First, start by taking a deep breath and calming down, okay? After you do that, try to explain to me how you've been feeling." "I don't know, Logan," she huffed after taking a breath. "I found myself somewhere with no recollection of how I got there, nor why I was there, or anything that happened before I went there. My memories will black out in spots, and it's creepy. Also, I knew something about Miss Herrera. It was like I felt like I knew she'd go missing or something. I don't know what's happening to me." "Annie, relax," Logan sighed. "Everything is going to be okay, I promise. Just try to relax. Go home, get some sleep, and we'll talk more in the morning, okay?" "Okay," she responded quietly. "We'll meet up tomorrow and we'll talk more." After having said that, Anaya turned on her heel and made her way home, being sure to keep to the lighted areas of the sidewalk. She thought as she walked, dreading the turn of night, because she knew that was when it would happen again. She would be taken somewhere to do something, and had no idea what it would be. Before she left the town square, she sat down, took off her backpack, and pulled out her sketchbook. For some reason, she had a feeling that she'd be needing it. Always. At that moment, she vowed to never go anywhere without it. Logan watched his friend until she turned the corner and left his line of sight. He didn't linger long due to having a few errands to run. He stopped by the grocery store to purchase food for the week, then headed towards home. His mind didn't linger long on the conversation he had with Anaya, but began drifting towards the dinner that he was preparing that night for K. Dean. Although cooking for a vegan was tough for him, because by no means was he vegan, he managed to make a beautiful meal for the two of them. He cooked potatoes and Brussels sprouts in olive oil, as well as garlic chickpea soup. Since both parties were underage, he didn't pair it with wine, as he would have if he were 21, but he got the next closest thing in the form of sparkling water served in champagne flutes. As if on cue, the clock struck 7 and there was a knock at the door. Thankfully, Logan had spoken to his parents the night before, so both they and his little sister were out of the house for the night. Realizing that his girl was waiting outside, he hastened to dry his hands off to get the door. Upon opening the door, he couldn't help but stare. K. Dean looked breathtaking. Her long, fire-red hair was pulled back into an updo, with little sections of hair hanging down to frame her face. She wore a khaki skirt paired with a forest green sweater. Hi, she started, breaking the silence that had fallen. "Oh, hi," Logan responded, shaking himself out of his reverie. "Sorry, I was just admiring you, as always." "Logan," K. Dean said, blushing and looking down at her boots. "What's up, hon?" Logan asked, looking at K. Dean with a slight tilt of his head. She started, but paused to think. It's nothing. You just made me blush." As Logan ushered K. Dean inside, he noticed the faint shade of red that colored her cheeks and her nose. As he beamed down at her, he felt the hair on the back of his neck stand on end. It was a feeling he knew well, the feeling of being watched. Police report. Reason: missing person. Status: filed. Description: name: Leonard Ricardo Johnson. Age: 48. Occupation: grocery store owner. Last seen wearing, N.A. Last seen in the presence of, N.A. Last seen on, N.A. End of police report. Since when do grocery store owners and librarians go missing? Katie almost shouted. It was evident by her look that she was getting worked up by all the disappearances. Her hair was a little more unruly than it normally was, and she didn't seem to have taken the time she normally does to choose outfits that match flawlessly. Kay, darling, relax, Logan said, trying to calm the pacing girl, although his efforts were proving futile. Relax? You seriously expect me to relax with all these poor people going missing? Who's going to be next? You, Annie, me? I can't bear to think of all those poor families who are so worried about everyone who's gone missing. Logan jumped up from where he was sitting and pulled Kadeen closer to him, enveloping her in his arms, not moving while she calmed down. Giving her a small peck on the lips, he spoke. Kay, I know you're worried. I'm worried too. We're going to find them, okay? I won't stop searching for clues. That'll help if that's the last thing I do. I know, she whispered back, looking up at him through her lashes. I love you too, he responded, leaning closer to her. Logan hesitated a few inches from her face, gauging her reaction. Kadeen sighed, her eyes sliding shut, her lips parting just a fraction, and her head tilting to the side. Not long after, Logan closed the distance, lightly brushing his lips against hers. Kadeen pouted as she felt the warmth of his lips leave hers. Bringing her hand up, she lightly placed it on his chest, feeling the gentle rhythm of his heartbeat. Sighing, he placed his hand over hers. Please, she whispered softly, not making eye contact. Please what? He asked, gently squeezing her hand. Kadeen trailed off, not wanting him to see the blush on her face as she said these two simple words. You'll have to look at me if you want me to kiss you, darling, Logan said, the evidence of a smile in his voice. Kadeen glanced up, and immediately his mouth seized hers. He began gently, but he knew that she wanted more based solely on her body language.